This is being young. The days of endless summers.
Vulnerability's hard.
We had a permit. We had a plan. We went.
I think that about sums it up.
Core experiences that I know fundamentally shifted who I am as a person.
And I was like, are you okay?
I wasn't.
In hindsight, I would do things completely differently.
Is it Yither?
Is it Yonder? Welcome to Yither and Yonder. So last time on Yither and Yonder. And that is like big scary.
Right.
Big scary.
Best thing to distract myself with was my own guilt.
I regret
She regrets meeting me.
everything about everything, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die.
We're 20-somethings.
Yes.
We are 20-somethings that are predisposed to be perfectionists.
Check.
To be people pleasers.
Check.
And to be high achievers.
And I just feel like shit.
It was fucking scary.
We didn't make it to Cathedral Lakes.
So we had just talked about the not so great day. We've had a series of not so great days, right? So like we have had all of this anticipation building up to starting the JMT, a couple of years worth of like physical training. We're on the trail and now we've had a couple of days of like, holy fuck. And it was not from sunrise to Cathedral to Tuolumne. This day that we just had was the Little Yosemite to sunrise.
Yes, and we
Because
thought
we wanted to get to Cathedral.
Yeah, and we thought we were going to be able to make up miles, but
We did not.
we did not because we were having a hard time.
We had a real hard time that day. It was the burn scar. I remember soaking our feet. I remember us saying, I really hope there's a creek by the camp so we can soak our feet again. And there was no creek
No.
at the camp. The hill, I mean, it's a mountain,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a pass. We weren't summiting anything. But I remember the hill we had to get over to get to sunrise. It was one of those like false ends where we kept being like, oh yeah, around this curve is definitely the top. And it was never the fucking top.
Right. So we were both wearing Fitbits at the time. So every night we would get in the tent and look at like what we would do the next day. So we would be like, okay, so it's going to be like X number of miles and X amount of elevation gain. So then when we would wake up the next morning, you know, I would have my Fitbit and be like, okay, so when my Fitbit hits 10 miles, I'm going to be done.
Or close or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes. And in these early days, because I was having such a hard time, like I would cling to that like a koala on a tree. I don't know, like I'm struggling with an appropriate metaphor here, but like just that image of but the mileage on the Fitbit never matched the mileage on the map.
Well, and I was really annoying every night. And we had 2 maps. And I think at this point we were still looking at 2 maps.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a point at which every night I'd be like, "And can I see the map?" And it was like an obsession because we wanted, I think we, in particular after these couple days, wanted to fully mentally prepare for what
Yes.
was coming. And we knew the first few days were like getting out of Yosemite. I don't think at the time we would have said climbing out of Yosemite, but that's really what you're doing. It's just elevation up, 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 up. And it was rough.
Yeah. And prior to starting this trail, I had this like image of what it was going to be like to be doing this through hike, this long trail, and what, you know, how I was going to be on this long hike through trail. And I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew I was going to have points where I was going to be miserable, but I did not expect to have the first couple of days like hit me to my core and have me feeling as though I physically could not do it. Because I can hike 15 miles in a day.
We have
Training
we did.
more times than I can count. And we've done that in altitude on our training hikes.
Yeah.
And yet, here I am, and I can't do it.
With weight.
Yeah.
We used to put shit in our backpacks and carry weight.
Yeah.
But I think there was just something different about the physicality of it. And I mean, Oregon is not California.
No.
Hiking in Eugene and like around the Mackenzie River on volcanic rock in Western Oregon, the ground hits different.
It does.
It's springy.
It is springy.
And it's got moss, you've got pine needles, you've got layers of things. And yes, there's volcanic rock, but you're not like walking up volcanic rock carved into a staircase.
No,
right?
To get up to the next stair, you have to like lift your foot up to your hip because, you're
Emily
5'4".
would like to file a formal complaint
Yes, I
with
would.
all youth corps and trail maintenance that is being done on national forest system lands, on national park system lands. Short people can't make a 3.5 foot climb up. A step
No.
up.
No, like
As a tall person, right? I'm like 5, 7.5, 5'8", depending on the day. And I don't think I have short legs. I feel like my legs are reasonably proportioned given my height.
yes.
There were points where, especially with a pack on, youth corps, I love you. You do incredible work. Please never stop committing yourself to taking care of public lands. Not everyone is 19. And some of these stairs, I was like, I have to put my foot on top of that
Yeah.
and do a one-legged squat to get up there.
Yes.
It was I will validate that there were
Thank you.
definitely a lot of places.
Thank you.
And I think like the Mist Trail that we had just gone up is really famous for just going up, right? And it's a lot of steps. And it didn't change the rest of the trail. So it was different. I don't remember, maybe ever, and I could be wrong because memory is memory.
Memory is memory.
I don't remember ever climbing like rock created staircases, like trail features of rocks making stairs in Oregon.
I definitely have, but I don't think we ever did together.
Because the vast majority of what we were doing was like on the Willamette.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of, we weren't doing like the sisters.
And this is part of what I like in hindsight I think would have done differently, because I did a lot of training. I hired a personal trainer at one point to help me with like strength training and the part of the gym I was less familiar with, not just the cardio part. I would do a lot more like single-legged strength training things, like one-legged lunges, single-leg lunges with weight. I wonder if with that knowledge, if these first couple of days wouldn't have gone smoother.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we just were in a situation where I don't even think we were unprepared. I think it was just different.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of different. And it was, we can talk about food now, we can talk about food later, but it's never something you can fully plan for.
No.
Right? You can be prepared, you can try to make sure that you have the information that you need, the knowledge that you need, the resources that you need. But fundamentally, like, we get on that trail and we're like, oh yeah, we're going to have like a Go macro bar and some peanut butter for breakfast every day. Some good fats, some calories, some protein. It's going to be awesome. And you wake up and your Go macro bar is hard as a fucking rock because it's cold as shit.
Yes.
And the peanut butter has separated and is now just oil and hard because it is also cold. It's like if you keep your peanut butter in the refrigerator, you're wrong, first and foremost. And also, natural peanut butter separates.
Yeah.
How are you mixing that into cold peanut butter without the oil, right? Like, we couldn't mix those packets. The Go macro bars were hard and tough to chew. We were always dehydrated.
Yes.
Like, I think the older I get, the more I realize what being hydrated actually means. And we were not drinking enough water when we were drinking water. And I think it was just not being fully cognizant of like how much we actually were sweating in those first few days.
No.
Like, we just were like, oh, well, I'm thirsty, I'll have a couple sips of water and we'll keep going. We should have been chugging water more frequently.
I think so. And like prioritizing our bodies over like trying to make up miles.
We had our caffeine tablets that we would put in our water in the morning, and we had various types of hydration things, electrolytes, flavored things, so that we would drink more water. But I think having not been hydrated, we're certainly not going to be chewing through a cold and thick Go Macro bar in the morning.
No.
We're certainly not going to get that peanut butter down. Like, if you think peanut butter gives you the like feeling, wait till you're dehydrated and it's oil separated out and spilled when you opened it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's coming into day 4.
Yes.
Day 4. I'm looking at my trail journal. Like this is the vibe, right? Of like, we are struggling and we didn't know we were going to be struggling, and it is intense.
I would actually say I knew I would struggle. I didn't think I would struggle so soon.
Yes, that's a better statement.
Because I think having done it now and being able to reflect on it, hindsight's 20/20 always.
Mm-hmm.
I think I thought that I would struggle the longer I did it, because I would be exerting myself and losing capacity
Mhm.
as we went, rather than what happened, which is I gained capacity,
Yeah.
right? At the end, when we left this trail, I felt like I could have just kept doing it, right? Like I could have gone home and hiked 10 miles a day, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I finally knew how to pack my pack appropriately and get all the kinks out. Like, I thought it would have gone the other way, that I would have been the most prepared when I started. And that external factors, not having as much food or having injuries, like I thought I would have lost steam,
Mm-hmm.
and I gained it. And I
Yeah.
think if I had known that, and we'll get to this day 4 story, if I had known that on day 4, that things would get better and not worse, I wouldn't have had the reaction I had.
Indeed. So I read my day 4 journal as we were eating breakfast this morning, and day 4 started as a good day for me.
Yeah. Day 4 started great.
And I even wrote in my day 4 journal that there was a moment when we were coming down from Sunrise around Columbia Finger where I wrote that I felt like we really hit our stride that day.
Oh, yeah. Day 4, I wrote, today was too much. And mind you, I wrote my journals at the end of the day. I have some fun little, like, where I was feeling better about it moments as I'm looking at this. But, like, in review, I was like, it was too much. We started early and worked hard. We had to make up miles. We moved from Sunrise to Tuolumne and made it to Cathedral Lakes relatively quickly, but Tuolumne was so much farther than expected.
Mm-hmm.
I remember waking up at sunrise and we actually like went down a little into this really beautiful valley and you could see Cathedral Peaks.
Yeah.
And I had a moment, and there was a picture of me that Em took with these beautiful mountains and I'm like this little speck.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in that section of trail, I felt so good about what we were doing. I was like, oh, we finally got out of the burn scar. We're finally in a place where it's going to be a little bit more enjoyable. Like I'm not a huge fan of walking through dusty, silty, burned trees. You know, that wasn't filling my cup the day before.
Yeah.
And so being somewhere that was so beautiful did make it feel like it was going to be lighter. And the trail was meandering through this beautiful kind of like valley.
It was a meandery day as opposed to like a big up, big down.
Right. When you are hiking to Tuolumne Meadows, you meet Tioga Pass. You meet Highway 120. And I remember walking kind of past Cathedral Lakes and you start going down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And in going down, and we said this for the rest of the trip, people were passing us, and Emma's already alluded to it. People were passing us and they smelled like pancakes and Tide.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm so hungry. I want to shower. I hate
Mhm.
all of these people. Like, I'm going to get to the road and be disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get in their cars and go back to like their hotel.
Yes.
And it was a lot of switchbacks down. And I think both of us were like, okay, well, we're not going up. Down's always worse.
Down is worse. It's harder on the knees.
It hurts the body more versus the chest, right? It's not your lungs that burn. It's your knees and your ankles and your hips. And we ended up making it to the part of the trail that meets the road.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bus.
So I'm going to jump in here, right? Because I feel like this is the beginning. So we got to the Cathedral Lakes trailhead, and Nikki saw a sign for Tuolumne Meadows that said that there was another 3.8 miles. She threw off her pack, collapsed on a rock, and said, "I just need 5 minutes, and I need fries."
So having been to Yosemite so many times, I knew that there was a store at Tuolumne Meadows, and they had like a little cafe. And I'd never been there. I'd only ever driven past it. But people smelled like food.
Oh, yeah, they did.
We were so hungry.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
our food situation was essentially like little bits of snacks, and then using a like, I think people will know what a cat can stove is. They may not. It's a cat food can that has a felt-like material that's actually used by like plumbers that have to solder things, so it is flame retardant.
Mhm.
You soak it in alcohol, and that is your flame source. And you use chicken wire.
I found chicken wire ribbon.
You use chicken wire as a ring to put your pot above your flame. And we boiled water, and we ate mashed potatoes
Yes.
and refried beans. They were dehydrated. We had them packed so that we could just pour the water in. And that was like our meal of a day, was truly just rehydrated potatoes or beans. And then we had a bunch of like protein bars and granola bars and snacks and fruit leather and like trail mix and all of the things. But I think we both tend to be more grazy in how we eat. And so the idea of having like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal planned was not what we were doing. And the meal of like, we're having beans for dinner was absolutely not enough beans to be feeding us. And we did the math of like how many calories we were bringing with us, but I don't think we realized how many calories we would be burning.
Correct.
And so we were hungry. We're also dehydrated. That doesn't help. And people smell like food. So I was very excited about the prospect of eating fries. And I don't eat meat. And so I was prepared to get there. And they're like, we have hot dogs and burgers. And I was going to be like, give me them French fries.
The minute you said, "and I want fries," I was like, fries.
Of course, both of us were like, cheese.
Because I was still thinking about the cheese that the
Yes.
folks told us about on day one.
Yep. I have in my notes that we made it to Cathedral Lakes relatively quickly, but Tuolumne was so much farther than expected. And when we finally made it, we were exhausted. We ate, and it was delicious. I had a garden burger and fries. They actually had a garden burger, which was awesome, and it was amazing. And I do want to acknowledge that when we got to the road, it was a bus stop because Yosemite has buses. And we got on the bus, so we didn't have to walk. There is a section that kind of crosses the road and goes on to the other side of Tuolumne Meadows that I'm going to guess here. Don't yell at me. I'm guessing it's the north side of Tuolumne Meadows. And you kind of come back around the wilderness station, right? The trail kind of does that. Most people walk the road because it's just out of the way to go the other direction.
Yeah.
And, red flag for through hikers. We're not through hikers.
No.
So we saw a bus and we were like, yes, please. Like, any assists to make today easier and get us back where we need to be so we don't have that crushing weight of not getting where we want to be or failing. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And we got on that bus, and my ass has never felt so cushioned and supported.
That bus seat was so lovely. And, by the time we got to the fries, it was about 2 p.m.
Okay.
So we were ready, so ready for like a solid meal and lunch. And I had a soda too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think I had like a Sprite or something. And I was like, ooh, crispy.
Yes.
I just remember sitting on the bus. We took our packs off. We had taken the bus when we were trying to find the backpackers camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a bus. And we take the bus at this point, and it clicked in my brain. You haven't sat on anything that isn't the ground or a rock in 3 days. And that is why this feels so good. And I think it hit me physically that we had been doing more than I think I was prepared for, or that my body, like, I wasn't aware of what my body was feeling.
Yes.
And how much I had been doing, right? You go to the gym, you do a hard workout, you wake up the next morning, you're like, damn, I worked out hard yesterday. This wasn't a workout. This was just what I was doing. And I woke up and just kept doing it. And I don't remember being sore. Like, I don't remember waking up and being like, oh, my hips hurt. But I think collectively, when I sat on that seat, I was like, oh.
Well, it was like we could finally rest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you go to the gym, you do your workout, and then you rest, right? You go home, you sleep, whatever. You wind down from it. We never wound down from it. And I think sitting in that seat was the first time that my body was like, oh, right, softness. And then we like land at the store and we go in and we order food. And this was also a point in time when I decided that I was going to send some stuff home.
Yes.
And I have here that we decided to peruse the store. You went in first and I went to, they had a post office there so you could get a box. And I sat down with my pack and I just started pulling everything that I hadn't used out. So like I had my heavy recorder that I was going to record conversations with, threw that in, all those extra batteries. I think I had a bunch of like creature comfort kind of things that I thought I might need that I ended up ditching. I wish I had taken pictures of like what I sent home.
Indeed.
And I remember sitting next to someone apparently named Steven, who was like, oh yeah, you guys are doing the whole trail. That's awesome. And I was like pulling stuff out of my pack and he was like, yeah, you don't need any of that crap. Like make it so you're comfortable. Like make it so you can enjoy it. And apparently we ran into Tori again. And
Yes.
she was spending the night at the lodge, which smart.
Indeed. Yeah. She told us, we may not see her again because she's on a different timeline.
Right. She was
Yeah.
staying a night at the lodge, and then we would have already been over Donahue Pass by the time she would have hit the trail again.
Yeah.
And we moved on to the next thing, which the store, the general store, and the little cafe or whatever were just a little bit down the road from the ranger station. And we had spent the last 3 days thinking about Dan the man and how proud he would be of us not leaving trash places and not dying as we crossed a creek.
Yes.
Can you tell that we're desperate people pleasers that want to be validated as a stranger? We're like, Dan, we did a good thing. Do I get a gold star?
Yeah. At least back then. Oh man.
When we were walking, I remember it was really hard to get moving again. And we had to cross a big part of the river. Do you remember the 2 bridges?
Yes.
There's like a bridge that went to an island in the middle of the river, and then we had to cross another bridge. And we were like, well, at least there's a bridge. Both of us were like, we've got to be there. Like, it's like when you're driving and you're walking the highway, it's like a quarter mile, right? It was really hard for us to get moving. And we had soaked our feet at Cathedral Lakes, but my feet were really swollen and I had all of these blisters.
You had so many blisters, and we were trying to get to Lyell Canyon.
Yes.
Which was another 4.5 miles, which we were refueled. You had sent some stuff home. So your pack was lighter. I had finally ditched my Camelback. I had thrown it away appropriately.
R.I.P. that Camelback.
R.I.P. that Camelback. I hadn't sent anything home, and you were very worried about the weight of my backpack.
Well, you brought a puffer jacket and a puffer vest and thick socks, and like you had a lot of things.
I did have a lot of things.
And I was like, are you sure you don't want to put anything? Because at that point I was like, damn, I'll sleep on the dirt, whatever. Like I was ready to just like give it all up and have a pack that I could like handle. And you were like, nope, I want all of my things. I was like, okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah. Because I
to that point, I had used basically everything except for my cold weather gear. And I was like, I don't want to send any of my cold weather gear home. But I was like, oh, she's worried about me.
I remember us talking about, prior to the trail, we had a very long conversation about what shoes we were going to wear.
Yes.
And what shoes we were going to bring.
Yeah.
And I had a pair of Merrells with Vibram soles that they were like mid-ankle.
Yeah.
And I had been wearing them for all of our training. They were broken in. They were super comfortable. I never had an issue with them when hiking in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
They were waterproof. And remember, we had a lot of conversation about, a lot of people say to just use like regular running shoes because they dry faster and just wear those in your creek crossings. And I was like, I really don't want to wear like an Adidas running shoe that just has like a foam bottom.
Yeah.
Because we're going to wear the tread off of that. And
Yes.
I didn't feel comfortable wearing something that wouldn't have had more like sturdy support.
Yeah.
We both, I think, landed on waterproof shoes.
Yes, I had waterproof Solomon hiking boots, which were new.
Right.
Because my training boots were Anu's, and I loved those boots. I loved those boots. R.I.P. Anu hiking boots. Like, that brand doesn't exist anymore.
I remember us talking a lot about the snow on the passes, and people were talking a lot about post holing.
Yeah.
And we were like, we really don't want to be dealing with wet shoes. If we have waterproof boots, hopefully that insulates us a bit more. We landed on waterproof because we thought it would be cooler.
Yes.
We didn't consider the 4,000 up to the 8, 10, 12,000, that stretch, and how hot it would be in, the end of August, beginning of September, because it was still 80, 90, depending on where we were, directly in the sun.
And it was humid.
It was humid and smoky because
Yeah.
of the fire.
Yeah.
And those first 3 days, my feet were just done. I have wide feet. I always get blisters between my toes if I don't have a shoe that's like a wide enough toe box. Usually, if I get a blister, I'm always, and medical professionals don't come for me, I'm like, pop a hole in it, move on with my life. Like, put the hole through 2 places so it has a place to drain and another place. If, something happens, we're good to go. Keep the skin on it, let it come off on its own, and I'll be fine. And I've never had an issue with that before. I have here that my feet were really swollen and they hurt really bad. And I can feel the blisters just getting bigger and bigger because my feet were just swampy.
Yeah.
They could not breathe. And it was so hot. And we had a lot of downhill that day. And the downhill, your toes are just moving forward and they just keep getting shoved. And, ill-fitting shoes, wrong shoes, whatever it was, my feet hurt and my blisters were really bad. I have here that when I took my socks off, you said, Nikki!
Your feet. I was worried about your feet.
Yes, you were very upset that my feet were as bad as they were, because I think I had mentioned that I had blisters and that they hurt, but I don't know if I underplayed it.
I mean,
or
your blisters had blisters.
I did have blisters on blisters. I did. And it was primarily like on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some like on the top of my feet from them sliding forward and rubbing.
Yeah.
And at that point, like popping them wasn't going to do anything because the skin was just raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, in the original Little Mermaid where she gets her legs, but every step
No, I don't.
Okay, so in the original Little Mermaid, not the Disney version, she gets her legs, but every step she takes feels like, she's walking on knives. Like, it's incredibly painful. When I saw how bad your blisters were, I was like, how is she walking?
Because you just go legs go.
Yes. And Nikki and I are incredibly honest with each other, and we don't generally have like a filter with each other. So like for the past couple of days, Nikki had been like telling me what a hard time she was having. And suddenly I understood that hard time she was having there was a layer to that I didn't understand, and that was coming from the blisters on her feet. When you're doing a long backpacking trip, a long trail, your feet are the thing that you need in order to go. And now we're in the middle of the woods, and there's like, what can we do?
So here's like the moment. After lunch, my belly was fuller than it had been in 5 days. My pack put pressure on my stomach and intestines. Giardia.
Yeah.
Right? Like I remember putting my pack back on and getting the waist belt on and being like, ugh, like that's not sitting right. That doesn't feel great. I'd hoped desperately to hear a better answer than just keep hiking. The ranger, who was not Dan the man, told us just that. The section of the trail that we were going into through Tuolumne Meadows is like a very protected restoration area because it is meadowland. And, you know, the rules for backpacking is you have to be between 50 and 100 feet from a trail, depending on where you are, usually at least 100 feet from a water source, if not further, depending on what kind of protections that water source has.
Yeah.
And if you're hiking through a meadow, there is no land that does not have vegetation on it for you to be able to camp on. You're supposed to be putting your tent down on dirt, right? You're not supposed to be killing plants to put your tent up at night. And so we were hiking to the ranger station in the hopes that we would ask them, is there some place sooner than Lyell Canyon that we can camp at?
Yes.
And their answer was, yeah, the backpackers camp you just passed, but it's full.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate your support in this retelling of our chaotic adventure. We love to hear from y'all, so reach out on social media at yitheryonderpod or send us an email at yitheryonderpod@gmail.com. Find us on your favorite listening platform, and please rate, review, and subscribe because it really does help. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources and helpful links. And if you'd like more content, subscribe on your favorite membership platform. Info's available on our website, yitheryonderpod.com. We've got weekly blogs from each of us, some planning resources from our trip, with tips on what we do differently, and some other fun bonus content. We truly appreciate you joining us on this great adventure. Until next time.